of your syllabus, that is liquid extraction. So in this lecture you will be introduced with the liquid extraction. What does this liquid extraction mean? And then related to this, there are number of terminologies, like there is something called solvent, extract, carrier, solute, then there is raffinate. So a few other terminologies you will come across. So what does those terminologies mean? Then we will talk about the solvents, because here when we will go through this, we will come across that you need some mass separating agent, which is solvent. So a selection of solvent, or which type of solvent are usually used. And then at the end, we will just conclude this lecture that when LLE is better separation technique as compared to the majorly used technique, which is distillation. We are just comparing it with the distillation because as you already know that distillation is most widely separation technique used in chemical industries, and then after that the next technology is absorption. And now, although membranes are also capturing the market and being used in the plants, but still when LLE is used with this, we are comparing it with the majorly used technique, which is distillation. So what liquid extraction is? Does anyone know? Okay, as its name indicate, here you will involve first of all two liquids. So what are those two liquids and how this extraction or separation is going to take place? So we will define it in liquid extraction, or sometimes you will see also this terminology, they call it solvent extraction. So in this technique, actually a liquid feed of two or more component. We have initially a liquid feed. Our feed should be a liquid. So that liquid feed consists of either two components, like, or more than two components, and the purpose is to remove some of those components from the feed to some other liquid. So what we have to do is to bring in contact this liquid feed, which consists of either two components or more than two components, and it is contacted with a second liquid phase, another liquid phase. You bring it in contact with that liquid phase, and that second liquid phase is called solvent, that is named as solvent. And initial liquid, that will be called as a feed. Feed is that stream from which you want to extract, you want to remove, you want to separate one of the components from the other component. So what do? You bring it in contact with some other second liquid phase, which is called solvent. So that solvent is like immiscible or only partly miscible with some of the components of the feed, while this newly introduced solvent, that has completely or like partially miscible with one or more of the feed components. So what does all this mean? That when you bring your feed in contact with any other liquid, so your feed initially consists of maybe more than one components. So when you will bring it in contact with another liquid, and that newly introduced liquid, which we are calling as a solvent, so that solvent will have different affinities with various components of the feed. So it will be selected, our solvent, later we will talk about this, it will be selected in such a way that it can completely dissolve, or it is miscible with some components of the feed, so that it can extract those components from the feed and can take it with it, while some other will be left over as such in the feed, because they are not miscible with this newly introduced liquid. So that solvent which we are introducing here, as we said, that feed may consist of two or more than two components. So solvent is not necessary to be pure component. Sometimes it is pure, sometimes it is also mixture of more than one components. So let's see, for example, when you want to remove some component and you are looking for the solvent, so if there are the aqueous solutions, and in aqueous solution mean anything which is in water and you want to remove. So in most of the applications, then there are the organic solvents are used, because the major application or most of the application of liquid extraction where you want to remove any component from aqueous stream, and if that is of organic nature, then you will bring something of organic nature in contact with this, because that component which is originally part of aqueous stream, but when you will bring it in contact with some organic stream, it will be more like attractive towards the organic solvent, and then we can separate it out. And inverse of this, for example, if you have something in which is like inorganic in nature, and that is at the moment part of the organic like feed, but you want to remove those inorganic components from that organic feed, so then you will bring in contact with the water, because inorganics are more majorly easily solved in water as compared to the organics, and then they will be separated. And just to look at some specific example, like if you have hydrocarbon, for example, benzene or phenol, toluene, these kind of hydrocarbon, aromatics, if they are part of water and you want to extract, you want to remove, you want to separate them from the water, so what you have to do is to bring it in contact with some hydrocarbon, because with those hydrocarbon, these already available hydrocarbon of the feed will have more better chance to like interact, and they will be miscible in those organic solvents better as compared to the water. So then they will be just separated or removed from the water and will become part of that organic stream or hydrocarbon stream. So overall, when you look at this briefly, like liquid extraction technique, or if you want to just look at the simple steps, brief steps, so they are 3 steps. So what are those 3 steps or 3 stages? They are like, first of all, you have to bring in contact the feed mixture and the solvent. So when you bring in contact, you have to mix them and then give them some time for the separation of 2 phases. So here what happens when we bring them in contact and we mix, after mixing or during mixing, some components of feed will be transferred towards the solvent, and when they are transferred towards the solvent, then still it will look like a homogeneous mixture, but later on you have to separate it into 2 phases. We will look at few more diagrams, so where you can see clearly that when you will get it separated into 2 phases under the action of gravity, and when there are 2 phases, one will be definitely of the solvent and one will be of the feed. Now some components of the feed are transferred actually from feed to the solvent in this case after settling. So then later on what you have to do is to just separate those extract and raffinate. Extract and raffinate are those 2 phases which are just settled out after giving it some time under the action of gravity. There are 2 there will be 2 layers, 2 phases, so those are extract phase and called raffinate phase. So then definitely for example, the thing that we are calling it extract phase. Extract phase is that phase which is majorly solvent and that contains something which is extracted from your feed. So you can remember it with this, like it contains some components of the feed extracted towards it. Like this is majorly solvent that contains some components of the feed which you were supposed to separate from the feed. And raffinate is the actually feed which is left over after providing or just giving some component to the solvent phase. So such kind of experiment like for liquid extraction, here you will also perform in like separation processes lab. So but we have here, for example, initially in first you can see that this contains like feed in which overall there is some solvent like in a bluish color, and it contains in the form of like these circles or some dots, black dots. It is shown that feed consists of actually more than one component. So the purpose here is to separate these components from this feed and get it transferred to something else. So what we do, we bring in contact immiscible solvent. So immiscible, why he is saying immiscible? That is immiscible with the major part of the feed, as we have already seen when we defined it, that in liquid extraction, when we bring in contact the feed and solvent, the solvent should be such that it is immiscible with the some component of the feed and only miscible with those components that you want to separate. So due to this he is saying they are immiscible. So when you will bring them in contact with each other, what you see here, like we can see that now the upper layer is like something newly added here, and that is solvent, and the down layer is already available feed inside this. So what we did, we bring the feed and the solvent in contact with each other as per this step, and then you have to give it some time for the settling. For example, here after mixing, like when you will give it the time, it will be again separated into the two layer. And why we need mixing? The mixing is needed because we want to transfer these components from feed towards the solvent. If you just put them just and leave them, definitely there will be a very small amount of the component transferred from the feed to the solvent. But when you will mix them, there will be more mass transfer. They will in contact more as compared to if they remain like this settled. So later what you have to do after mixing, you give them some time and it will start settling. So when two layers are separated, now you can see that most of the components which you were looking to be separated, they are just transferred from feed towards the solvent. Although this is not definitely 100% transfer, but later we will talk how to overcome this problem. So now when you have just separated them, the upper layer, which is majorly solvent containing the components extracted from the feed, so that is called extract, while on the other end there is a raffinate. Like raffinate is the feed stream which has given or which has provided some of the component towards the solvent, while remaining feed is this raffinate stuff. So here, as we mentioned, like extract phase is on the top and raffinate is on the bottom, but it depends on the gravity. If your feed has on the density, so when you just give it some time to settle under the action of gravity, definitely lighter will go to the top and heavier will be settled like at the bottom. But if for example your solvent is heavier as compared to feed, definitely it will be reverse. But then still their name will be same. Raffinate is the that component of the feed from which you have extracted something, while extract is the solvent majorly containing some parts extracted from the feed. So then what you have to do later in this next example, for example, now they are just separated into two phases. So what next? Next definitely will be to just separate them. For example, here in this you can see that there is a feed, and the feed contains overall three components. Overall blue liquid, then there are inside some just to give you this idea that it consists of something in the black color as well as in the red. So this feed consists of more than two components. So then you bring it in contact with the solvent, which is here in some yellowish color, and mix them. And after mixing, when you give it time for the settling, it is settled or separated into the two layers. And in those two layers, like you can see that one of the components which you were supposed to remove from the feed, that is transferred more or less completely towards the solvent, while other component are not transferred in large amount. You can see this small amount of those components. So after this you will open the stopper from here, so get them separated, like one of those is collected in a beaker and other will also like collected separately. So definitely here this is now your feed from which you were supposed to remove something, and you have got rid of those components. They are just already removed. So other this solvent, now solvent contains something which was not originally part of this, and if you have to recycle this solvent, if you have to reuse this solvent, definitely there will be need of recovery of this solvent from this solute which you have just transferred from feed towards this. So how that recovery will take place? Definitely you will go for some next separation techniques that can be like either something crystallization, distillation, absorption, any of those techniques can be used. So this is similarly like when you have seen absorption. In absorption, when you used to bring some liquid in contact with your gaseous feed, and later that was just separated, and the liquid was recovered inside the stripper, and you bring it back to the column. So that is recovery of the solvent. So same will take place in this technique also. So here again, solvent, majorly solvent stream containing some parts of the feed extraction, that is raffinate. Just remember this terminology. So just before we move forward in a liquid extraction, there is something called solid liquid extraction, or the leaching. So what is that? A solid liquid extraction, as again its name is indicating, like there will be your feed which is in the form of solid, and it is brought in contact with some liquid, and that when you will bring it in contact with the liquid solvent, that liquid solvent will extract or recover some components from the solid, while some other will be left over as such inside the solid. So for example, recovery of oil from the seeds. When you have seeds, you know that from that we can recover that oil present in those seeds in that solid structure, and that is recovered with the help of organic solvent. Later when we will study the leaching, we have to talk about that, so that will be discussed in detail. But from here, just remember that if someone says solid liquid extraction, what does that mean? It means your feed is now solid, and but you are bringing it in contact with some liquid. As well, if you remember from the start of this semester, when we discussed in the first lecture some common separation techniques. So I told you at that time, like when you put these tea bags or tea leaves inside the hot water, so something is extracted from those tea leaves. Some part is extracted towards the water. Due to this, we see there the change in color of water, and other solid is just still left over. For example, that is leaf. Some components will be extracted from the leaf, and then overall solid share of leaf will be left as such. So here the thing is that some components are removed from like solid towards the liquid in those. So where majorly liquid extraction is commonly used, so uh, there are some common uses of liquid extraction technique, and that is, for example, separation of aromatics from kerosene-based fuel oils. You know that these aromatics are not good at burning, so in order to improve the burning quality, those aromatics can be removed. So if you have a mixture of hydrocarbons, and you know that these hydrocarbons which are close boiling to each other, and it is difficult to get them separated with the help of distillation. So then what we can do is we can bring those all hydrocarbon in contact with some other solvent, and that solvent will be selected in such a way that that has affinity with the aromatics, so it can just remove them from the other hydrocarbon, which can be like, for example, aliphatic straight chain hydrocarbon. So that's the one application. The other is like again these separation of aromatics from paraffinic and naphthenic compounds. So that is also at the same time maybe improve the quality, burning quality, as well as some other characteristic like viscosity, or like temperature, viscosity characteristics of lubricating oil. So mean to say here we can use it for removal of aromatics from the lubricating oil. So this is also used there. So like when you look at the history of liquid extraction, although it was being used in small scale applications on the lab scale or the pilot plant, but the large scale first extraction plant in the world was like restricted in 1930, that started working in 1930, and the purpose was the same, removal of aromatics and sulfur compounds from kerosene. So this was the first application of the liquid extraction on large scale. So the solvent which was used is the liquid sulfur dioxide, and when you will bring it in with contact with that, so that has better affinity with the aromatics, while other chemical or these hydrocarbon are not just extracted. So this system of liquid extraction is named as like ternary system. And later we will see also the ternary diagram when we will look at the design or number of stages calculation for these liquid extraction systems. So ternary, again its name indicates ternary is related to three. So three, actually here we will consider that your feed consists of two miscible components. They are initially miscible with each other. Like if you look at the small amount of hydrocarbon that is part of the feed, so that is usually miscible with the feed. So that those two components of the feed are named as carrier and the solute. Carrier is that carrier is something which is in present in the large amount, and it is carrying along with it some small amount of the other component which you want to get rid of or which you want to remove. So that is like a solute and the carrier. Majorly you can just say that one component which we want to remove, which we want to extract, that is called solute. And this terminology is same as you have already seen in case of absorption. So if you remember, when we bring the gas in contact with the liquid, we used to say that solute is transferred from the gas towards the liquid. So solute were those species which you were absorbing. So here solute are actually those species which you want to remove from the feed or which you want to extract from feed towards the solvent. So the all other components except this are named as like carrier. Abdul Basit, you are creating trouble. So while as I was saying that this is ternary system, and inside that ternary system we will be talking about three components, and out of those two are like present in the feed. One we call it generally as a carrier. So carrier will be each and everything. If suppose your feed consists of more than even two components, so everything except that component if you want to remove will be named as a carrier. So for example, there are four components part of the feed, and out of those one which you want to remove will be named as solute, while all other are called generally as a carrier. So plus you bring it in contact with the main solvent, another solvent, third one. So that is like third component of the ternary system, and that solvent we are just calling it as a pure compound here, but you know already I have told you that it is not necessary for the solvent to be like one based on one component. Maybe it can be mixture of more than one component depending on the requirement. So that component C, which is the carrier, is at most not or only partially soluble in the solvent. We have already talked about this, that solvent is selected in such a way that it only is soluble or miscible with that component which you want to remove from the feed. So other component which we are calling as a carrier, so that with that it will not be miscible. While with the solute which you want to remove, it should be completely or substantially soluble. It means that the solvent is selected in such a way that it didn't like dissolve, or it should be like miscible with that component which you want to remove in a large amount. Either it should remove it completely or in a sufficiently large amount, not in like small amount. So a requirement of mostly more than one stages are needed for complete extraction of A, as I have shown you in the one earlier diagram, and I told you that not complete component, for example, solute A is transferred from feed towards the solvent, because here when you will be using this liquid extraction, before this, like majorly you studied either distillation or absorption. In those, if you remember, most of the time you have only one column like for absorption and one column for distillation. But here the difference is in liquid extraction, for treating your feed to bring it in contact with the liquid, you will have most of the time more than one stages, because to completely get rid of these components you need more stages. Some of this will be definitely transferred in the first stage. For example, in this mixer or first stage, when you bring in contact with the solvent and the solution or the feed, then give them some time for the settling, so they are just separated in the form of extract and the raffinate. So extract was those which is the solvent containing the extracted part of the like feed, so that you will just separate. But raffinate, as already told you, that raffinate is that part of the feed which is still there, which will contain all carrier as well as maybe some part of the solute which is still not extracted. So then what you will do, you will bring it in more contact with the solvent. So what we are doing here, we, in order to increase the mass transfer, we bring in contact with the more solvent. In a next stage, more contact, more mixing, and then that transfer will take place, and so on. So based on the, or depending on the purity which you need or amount of the solute which you want to transfer, either it is like 90%, 97%, 99%, or whatever is the value, based on that then we will be designing the equipment. So designing the equipment, and yes, calculating the number of stages required. So later its design majorly involve actually the distinct the calculation of number of stages required for some specific separation. If that separation is less, definitely you don't want to for, like for example, very high purity, then stages will be less, otherwise you will need more number. So how these stages in this liquid extraction equipment, there will be like mixer and settler. You know that here, for example, if we have this one stage, there is a mixing as well as then settling. So in industrial columns, later I think from the next lecture we will study this, that sometimes you have same mixing and settling in the same equipment, but sometimes you have mixing in one equipment and then there is another vessel, just give it time for the settling. And then when they are settled into two separate phases, one is extract, other raffinate, so we will just take them to the next stages, like as you know that this feed, although if it is recovered and you can use it in next process, while extract, because extract contains some part of the feed in the solvent, and if we have to just recycle the solvent, so you will take it to those other separate equipments. So like here we are going to quickly talk about one example of industrial scale, that is acetic acid. So acetic acid is produced by three different methods mentioned here, like methanol carbonylation and acetaldehyde oxidation, as well as it is produced as a byproduct of cellulose acetate manufacturing. So these are three different methods used on industrial scale for production of acetic acid. When you look at uh, the product in most of these cases, so your product is a mixture of acetic acid and water. So in those reactions, along with the acetic acid, water is also produced. And you know that for water, as boiling, normal boiling point at like atmospheric pressure is 100, and for acetic acid it is 118 degrees C almost. So normally for the applications are where you have to use acetic acid, we need pure acetic acid of 99.88%, like minimum its concentration should be 99.8%, and 0.2% will be some other impurities, for example water or other, and that is named as glacial acetic acid. So in order to produce this highly pure like pure acetic acid, you need to separate the water from this, which is produced along with this in these. So then what can be the option? For example, if we go for the distillation, so in those applications majorly where mixture contain like less than 50% acetic acid, like water is more than 50% or close to the 50%. So if you go for distillation, you will need very large amount of the heat. And because here, if you want to separate it with the help of distillation, what will be the option to like heat it up so that water is boiled and you can get separated acetic acid as a bottom product, while lighter water will go to the top. So in order to boil all that water and at 100 degrees C, definitely it will need a very large amount of the heat, and that makes this process highly expensive. As compared to this, then this solvent extraction is most suitable one, because you will bring this mixture of acetic acid and water in contact with some solvent, which will just take away acetic acid from this mixture, and water will be separated. So that is the most suitable option and used in the industries. Like in this flow diagram, you can see that initially we have overall, you can see 3 columns, but first column is of this extraction column, LLE column, liquid extraction column. So inside this there is a mixture, and you bring in contact your feed along with the solvent. So when they come in contact with each other here in this column, so like mass transfer will take place, and as you know that your feed contains water and the acetic acid, while here like solvent which is used is ethyl acetate. So ethyl acetate is this entering to this tower from the bottom, and feed is entering from the top. You mix them, they come in contact with each other, and like then separated out into the two stream. In this diagram, although he has shown that later on they are just settled or separated into two. One will leave from the top, which is extract phase, and other is leave from the bottom, that is raffinate phase mentioned here. So extract phase, because it contains major component of that solvent, ethyl acetate, as you can see from here from the flow rate values. As well, there are some amount of acetic acid, as well as in this now water is also transferred toward this, but still very large amount of water is leaving from the bottom of the column. So you can see as well that they are not just perfectly separated, like when you give them time for the settling. So still you can see that sufficient amount of ethyl acetate is also leaving with the raffinate from the bottom, while acetic acid is majorly or in a large amount removed from water towards the ethyl acetate, which is leaving from the top. So only somehow 11 kmol or 11 kg are still left over here. So then when they are just separated, as you know that next stage is to just treat further the extract and raffinate. So in the next stage, what we do, we bring them to the distillation column. So I will just talk about this first. So in this, you are bringing the extract phase. So as you know, you can see here from the composition of extract that it contains water, ethyl acetate, as well as acetic acid. So in this distillation column, the purpose is to get separated this acetic acid from water and ethyl acetate. So still there is a water, but as compared to the initial amount, water is in less amount as compared to the water initially present in this system, which was in high amount. And if you were supposed to, for example, use distillation initially, then that would be too expensive. But here, when large amount of water is already separated from this acetic acid inside the extraction column, so now the small amount which is still left over can be separated in the distillation column. So then from this bottom of this distillation column, like glacial acetic acid is leaving, and from top the vapor are condensed, and you bring them to the desiccator. So sorry, decanter. Here decanter is like gravity based separation, just simple vessel in which when you give it time, so as to the top of this column will be ethyl acetate majorly and water. So they are just separated from here, like water is the heavier component that will be settled at bottom of this, and as compared to the ethyl acetate, which is lighter, will be just settled at the top in the liquid. So then some part of this is just the ethyl acetate, which is the solvent, is recovered. This is recycled back to the extraction column along with some makeup of the solvent. while some part can be reflexed as well. The heavier, which was water, was settled at the bottom, that you can take it to the next our water separation column. From the bottom of extraction, as you know, raffinate left and majorly was water, along with some ethyl acetate and acetic acid. So this amount of acetic acid is very small, but we want to recover ethyl acetate from here. So what you do to just distillate here, and as ethyl acetate is lighter as compared to the water, the condition are adjusted in such a way that ethyl acetate goes to the top and water leaves from the bottom. So when ethyl acetate is just separate, then go to the top, some part is this reflux, and while other is sent to the main ethyl acetate, which is going back to the extraction system. So the same are mentioned here, that they we bring them in contact, like ethyl acetate is have a boiling point of 71, water 100, and that is 1.8 acetic acid. So low density like solvent rich stream here, which we call the extract, that leaves from the top, and raffinate, which is usually heavier and contain here in this case, that is at least heavier, and that leave from the bottom. Then they are just separated in the distillation column, the things which I have explained. So what we can get from this example, that in liquid extraction, although we are gonna use like one equipment in which we can do the separation, but still further you need some other separation technique to completely separate the component. But overall cost as well, like operation will become easier when you just go with this. Uh, if if I just compare this like liquid extraction as well absorption with the distillation, as we always say that distillation is very widely used technique. The reason is because in distillation you don't need further separation like this. Most of the time you have distillation column, and the component if you want to separate, they are just separated into the various products. But when we will be dealing with either absorption or this liquid extraction later, when we talk about this leaching, such all these kind of separation technique, mostly they involve further still some separations. So due to this, we always try to just go with the distillation, but if there is not possible, then we look for some other, which can be like economical. So liquid extraction is reasonably mature technique, but not as mature as we have seen already. Distillation or absorption, this liquid extraction is used, but not on that large scale as like distillation or absorption speaking. So for this, the problem is when this is not that mature, it's mean its technology, although available, but not that much due to this, its development is less as compared to those techniques. For example, if we just compare, like later on we will do this calculation of our calculation of number of equilibrium stages for this. Those procedures are well established, and if you are going to design liquid extraction equipment, you can do this easily because those procedures are well. But for example, if you remember that when we were looking at like either distillation or I mean uh, in case of absorption, in the law which relates or which is related to vapor liquid equilibrium, like you have Raoult's law and such kind of laws, but in liquid extraction we don't have such kind of theories which can help us to in calculation or which can lead towards a better prediction of the data. So due to this, when there are no equations or theoretical basis for this, then we have to look for experimental data. So they are preferred as compared to, although there are something activity coefficients, they are available, and they are related to the liquid extraction, but still they don't predict these kind of results better, and always prefer the experimental data which is performed in the lab scale and pilot scale. And when someone is going to design an equipment, definitely they will just go through these stages of like on lab scale, then pilot scale, and then they will design the large scale plant. So no generalized capacity and efficiency correlation, as we have already seen either in distillation or in absorption. There was some kind of efficiency calculation and those correlations, but here they are not. So this as from where we started, mainly I have talked about the example, they are related to the petroleum industry. So majorly extraction processes are well suited, or they are mostly used in the petroleum industry, and especially for like separation of heat sensitive liquid feeds, because when you look at these hydrocarbons, as you know that they are usually close boiling. So if you have to separate some from the other, then distillation does not help you, or that becomes more expensive. So as compared to that, this technique is helpful for you, that you have to just select some suitable solvent and you can do that separation. The other applications, uh, they are majorly, we talked about petroleum industry, but they are also used in biochemical industries. And in biochemical industry, because they need, or they are small scale industries, and they are helpful for like separation of antibiotics and proteins from the natural substrate. So as well, sometimes they are used for recovery of metals uh, from like uh, for example, here mentioned is the copper from ammonical leach lacquer. So maybe you will be thinking that metal are like in the form of solids, but what we have to do, we have to just, for example, there are metallic ores, and you have to dissolve them in some solvent and then get them, bring in contact with some other liquid or solvent in which one of the metal is more easily separated. So other separation like same like of rare earth metal or radioactive isotopes from the spent fuel of nuclear plants. So as well in the like inorganic chemical industries, where high boiling constituents, for example, one we talked about this acetic acid, similarly like boric acid or such kind of component, they are recovered from aqueous solution easily with the help of as compared to distillation. So at the, I think more or less last part of this discussion, that is now majorly the solvent, selection of the solvent, or when we look at the extraction, so solvent should be the suitable. So as you know that for solvent to be suitable one, always whenever we are going to use any solvent, we have some common criteria for selection of solvent, either that was for absorption like here in liquid restriction, or later for the leaching. So always solvent should be stable, like they shouldn't decompose at the conditions of the separation. As well, they should be non-toxic, inexpensive, and easily recoverable. These are few very common, requirements for selection of any solvent. But here, few more requirements. They will be like solvent should be relatively immiscible with the feed component other than the solute. Feed components are those feed components which you do not want to remove. Only those feed components which we are calling as a solute, they should be like extracted or removed with the help of this solvent. And that have different density from the feed. The other major requirement for this, because after mixing the feed and the solvent, we give them some time for settling, and then for settling, that settling, we just prefer it should be based on the gravity. And if there is a density difference, definitely it can help us. Okay. So that solvent must have a high affinity for solute, which can be easily separated by distillation, crystallization, or other means. It means that when solvent has extracted some component which we call solute from the feed, then later separation should be easy. Like uh, then there should not be new problem for us that we have extracted something from the feed and now it can't be separated easily from the your solvent. So that should be easily done by common use technique, for example. So ideally, the distribution or partition coefficient for the solute between liquid phase should be greater than 1, or a large solvent to feed ratio will be required. Just let's skip this point because this needs some background, and later when we will be talking about this activity coefficients and distribution coefficients while discussing the design, then I will talk about this point in detail. But here the thing is that if activity coefficient ratio is not 1, then you need actually solvent to remove some component. So here in this table from your textbook, you can see that if your solute is acetic acid and it is part of the water, then it can be removed with the help of some ethyl acetate, which we have seen in the previous example, as well as isopropyl acetate. So similarly, for many others here, they are mentioned like based on the uh, solute and the carrier, you have some data at least available. Based on that, you can select the proper or the better solvent. So here, if you look at majorly they are hydrocarbon, as I told you that this technique is mostly used in like petroleum industries, so or petrochemical industries. So in these you will see majorly they are like hydrocarbon separation. So they are mostly involved in hydrocarbon. But if you are removing something else from the hydrocarbon, then you will be using water, or then the last part is related to the biochemical industries. So you need some specific solvents here which are also organic to remove some components from the, so these like uh, these components which can be an antibiotic or the extraction when you go for extraction as compared to the distillation. So for example, if distillation require excessive amount of heats, for example the case of this like acetic acid, or maybe other cases if their relative volatility is near unity, in that case mean they are close boiling and it is not easy to just. So when the formation of azeotrope, you know that in that case again it is difficult separation. So we have to introduce something else, and sometime this liquid extraction will be definitely helpful. So then when heating must be avoided, for example, they are heat sensitive components, and if they can be still separated with the help of distillation, but in distillation because we need heat, so just to avoid that heat we can go with this liquid. So any a high boiling component present in relatively small quantities, it's mean that if your component, if you want to separate, it boils at high temperature as compared to other feed components. But the problem is that this which is a high boiling, this is in very small amount. So what does this mean? In that case, if you want to separate it with the distillation, you have to just evaporate, you have to vaporize all the other stuff of the feed, and only this will be left over as a heavier at the bottom. So that will need very large amount of the heat and will make it like not suitable option to go with distillation. Then separation of like close melting, close boiling liquids, then that can be like where solubility difference can be exploited, means that if they are close boiling or something is close melting and we want to separate them, so the better is to go with this extraction technique. So because you select proper solvent and can easily separate. So thank you so much. Here we have just discussed today about brief intro of the liquid extraction and its common uses, in which industries it is commonly used and when it is preferred, what does these terminologies mean, and what phenomena majorly will be taking place. Do we need any other separation equipment after going with the liquid extraction? Do we need like more than one stages, or why stages are needed? So all this information was discussed, and at the end we talked about the selection. There are number of solvents available, but that should be so that it can extract only the component which you want to separate. Right, thank you. So any question?